So it's very important that students view their grades to get feedback from their instructor. And the way to do that in PAWS, or our Desire to Learn system, is first to click the link to enter your course. Once you're in the course, you'll see the menu items across the top of the page here. And all the way at the end, there's a link that says Grades. If you click that link, you will see all the grades that have been posted so far. And this is a great way to get an idea of your standing in the class and to see that important feedback from your instructor. So let me just tell you a little bit about this. At the top is a subtotal. Now be very careful with these subtotals because different instructors use these subtotals differently. In fact, the subtotal may not be accurate based on the rules for calculating your grade. If there's a minimum score requirement, if you have drop grades, then this subcategory may not be smart enough to understand that. I would suggest to you that you ignore this subtotal and that you instead look at the individual grade items. Now, at this point, it's very early in the semester, and so I don't have all of my grades yet. I haven't had time to earn all of those. But what I do see is the number of points that are possible. In this case, each of these quizzes is 20 points. So, I'll know how many points lie ahead. I can also see for those quizzes that I've completed, in this case, I see that I got a perfect score at 20 out of 20. Now, my instructor posted overall comments to the entire class that says the grades are posted, but remember, in this particular class, there's a minimum score requirement. Now, obviously, since I got 100% here, I'm above the minimum score, but that's something that I would have to keep in mind as I continue throughout the rest of the semester earning these grades. Now, as I move down, I see another subcategory for interactives. That's, nice information, but again, I know to ignore that and instead pay attention to these individual grades, right? If you're in Dr. Jones' classes, the calculations are typically pretty straightforward. You should and you are required to look at your syllabus, but for example, you would add up all the points that you could earn, for example, all these little 20-point quizzes, and then you would add up the points that you did earn. And by using this gradebook in PAWS, you can, for the moment, ignore these other quizzes and get a good idea of how you stand in the class. Because, I say ignore these because you haven't had time to earn these grades. So, if you were to calculate your grades using all of these homework assignments, you would say, oh my gosh, I have an F, but you know that's not the case. So instead, if you know that so far the only assignments due are Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, you could focus on just those grades, and since I see I've got a 20 out of 20 and an 18 out of 20, the average grade here would be a 19 out of 20. The average of 18 and 20 would be 19 out of 20, and that's what, about 95? That's a really good grade, right? I see other assignments that I have upcoming. Exams and the percent, and exams is a great representation because in this case there are 3 exams and one of them is a drop grade, but the PAWS Gradebook is telling me that I have 450 test points, but see, one of these will be dropped. So the best thing to do is to focus on the individual grade items and pay attention to your score there along with the rules from the syllabus. Now, here's a great example of some feedback, some very detailed feedback that the instructor has posted in regards to, in this case, attendance and participation. If you have discussion board postings, if you are submitting writing assignments, very oftentimes your instructor will give you a lot of very detailed feedback, and even if points are not deducted the first time that feedback is given, there is an expectation that you will use that feedback to improve on each subsequent assignment. So you are responsible for this feedback, so very, very important. Now you'll notice there's 2 different types of feedback, and this is a great on this particular line item. Let me make this larger to make sure that you can see this. I can make it larger, but My screen is not letting me scroll over. Notice that there are individual comments as well as overall comments. Comments that are listed in this overall area are available to the entire class. Comments that are listed in this individual comments area are just between you and the instructor. Okay, so very important really to read both of these, but if your instructor took the time to give you individual comments, that is just so important. Okay, and so finally you can go through and see this. You'll notice at the very bottom that these are marked in the system as bonus. The system actually displayed this little parentheses here in bonus. And you'll also see that where the other assignments had a value here, like this is out of 8 points, for example, or out of 20 points for a quiz, bonus items are not required points, so they don't add up to the total points required, right? They do, however, when you earn points, increase the number of points you earned, so that you add up, really for a very basic, straightforward calculation, you could add up all the points you earn, which are on this left side of the slash, and you could add up all the points that are required, which is on the right side of this slash. Now be careful about these subtotals because you don't want to add that twice. Just skip those completely, right? But, you divide the points that you earned, you divide the right side by the left side, and you would have an idea of your grade, right? So you would add 8 points that you earned, and 8 points that you earned, and 7 points that you earned, and you would add the 8 points required, and the 8 points required, and the 8 points required, and you would take the sum of the earned and divide by the sum of the required, okay? All right, I hope this overview of the gradebook is helpful. Each instructor uses or calculates your overall grade differently. The rules for that calculation are available to you in the syllabus, which is one reason why it's very important to keep up with your syllabus. And of course, especially as you get to the end of the semester when you're wondering what your grade is. But the best thing to do is to be aware of those rules right from the beginning. That's why it's explained on the first day of class, so that you are always earning the best possible grade. Thank you very much, and I hope this is helpful, and be sure to explore the other videos that explain various aspects of PAWS. Thank you.